Welcome into Ride the Line, the greatest podcast in sports betting entertainment. My name is Tanner Kern, certified G, bona fide stud, and you can't teach that. In this right here, this is G Money, Grant Mitchell. He's ready to give the winners today, and you can't teach that. Bada boom, man, the people in the room. Grant, welcome into a Wednesday edition / Thursday night football edition of Ride the Line.
Welcome in, everybody, and welcome in, Tanner. I am ready to give out the winners because your guy, Baker Mayfield, screwed me. You got to take responsibility for his actions on Monday night.
Here's what happened. They didn't throw the ball. Rashad White should not have had 30 rushing attempts. He didn't have 30, but he shouldn't have had any rushing attempts. They were averaging 2 yards a carry. You're putting Baker Mayfield in a difficult situation, and then you let him throw the ball at the end of the game, and he actually shows up. Also, Mike Evans dropped about 15 passes in the first half. That hurt. But yeah, it wasn't a good night. They were outmatched. I do think, though, watching that game, they can win the NFC South. They have a defense that can play. The offense put the defense in a lot of bad positions there. And if they just figure out how to work the offense, like, you got to let Baker cook. Like, you can't run the ball with Rashad White behind an offensive line that can't run block. So I'm not going to put the blame on Baker.
Special teams was also a big problem for the Bucs. They were giving up a lot of returns to, I forget his name, but the punt returner for the Eagles. And to your point about the offense putting the defense in bad spots, I remember there was a time where the Bucs either got a 3-and-out or they forced a turnover, and they have a 3-and-out, and they allow a decent punt return, and the Eagles have the ball back on the 35. It's like, okay, they can just spike the ball 3 times, and they're getting at least 3 points out of this drive. So yeah, not the best. But you know what? It was good to see the Eagles really turn in a good performance, because even though they were 2-0, we both said they haven't looked good in either of those games. Well, the Eagles did look good in this game. They're starting to blend the run and the pass better than they were in the first 2 games. Still got a long way to go to get to the level they were at last year. I still don't think they're even close to that, but I think this was a step in the right direction for them.
Did they look good, though? Like, Jalen Hurts still had 2 interceptions. Like,
Jalen's got something's going on, because what do you have? I think he had 7 interceptions all of last year, and now he's got like 4 or 5 turnovers in the first 3 games.
I would challenge the fact that the Eagles look good. I think their run defense was great, which we knew, but the Buccaneers were still able to throw the football. Mike Evans dropped a ton of passes. Baker in the end of the game was still efficient through the air. Their special teams look good, but Jalen Hurts does not look good. And I will say, too, the Buccaneers probably one of the best teams at shutting down the quarterback sneak. They shut it down one time. Like, they were like 1 for 4, and Jalen Hurts was not like ripping through for 5-yard gains on that. So the defense can ball a little bit, but I don't think the Eagles look great. I think their run defense was exceptional.
The run offense was pretty good too, and that's because they were dominating the offensive line, or the point of attack. Their offensive line was getting after it. There were so many holes for DeAndre Swift to run through. I know you're bagging on Mike Evans, but you were at this game in person. Was that catch of the year? That must have been pretty cool to see.
It was about time. It was about, like, honestly, like, he dropped an easy touchdown. He had dropped 2 easy first downs before that, and he needed to hit his receiving total, and that catch put him 1 yard over, and then he had a touchdown catch late in the game. So, yeah, he was good. Now, going back to the Bucs' run defense, I think the run defense is not great, but they didn't want to get beat over the top. Devontae Smith didn't have the big play. That was huge for them. A.J. Brown had a huge day, but it was a lot of comebacks.
And he dropped like 3 touchdowns as well.
Yeah, he did. He definitely did not have a great game there. But did you see the DraftKings Super Boost didn't hit?
I did not. Was that the Taylor Swift one?
No, that didn't hit because DeAndre Swift didn't find the end zone. But there was Super Boost. It was Mike Evans 30 plus, AJ Brown 30 plus, Devontae Smith 30 plus, and he had 28 yards. So Buccaneers defense did not want the Super Boost to hit.
Betting the Eagles receivers is one of the worst things in football. I will say that, because it's always Devontae Smith gets 130 and AJ Brown gets 25, or vice versa. They never both go, 70 plus, 80 plus, which is what a lot of bettors put down. It's always so hard to predict which one of them is going to pop off.
Yeah, I agree. But that's enough Buccaneers talk. Anyways, Tampa Bay, I think they're the front runner to win the NFC South. Baker Mayfield's just as good as Derek Carr. Tampa Bay has a decent defense, and the Falcons aren't that good either. So Tampa Bay is going to be in the mix. They fought. They battled. They didn't play well, but they battled. Great. Subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Don't tell me. I'm already subscribed on my account, Tanner. I know you're subscribed. So you guys out there, hit that button. It's one simple press of a button. Tanner and I are here giving our best betting picks every week throughout the NFL season, and that includes highlighting the marquee matchups on Thursday Night Football and Monday Night Football. And when we get to the holidays, those Thanksgiving games, all that great stuff, we are going to be right here. So smash that subscribe button, join the community. And Tanner, we got one of those big games to talk about coming up. It's a battle in the NFC North. The winner takes the lead in the division. The Detroit Lions on the road versus the Green Bay Packers, Thursday Night Football. Just starting right here, the Lions have already been on this stage. They started their season on the road on Thursday, go to and beat the Super Bowl champion Chiefs. Now, I know historically they have struggled against the Packers, but I don't think they're going to be totally unfamiliar or uncomfortable in this sort of environment.
No, Jared Goff's not a great road quarterback. He's not great on grass. Like, he's a totally different quarterback at home versus on the road. But when I look at this game here, I don't think the Packers are that great of a football team. I think they've been decent on defense, but you look at the Lions, they've actually been better. And the Lions have faced a lot tougher competition. You beat the Chiefs on the road. When it came to the Seahawks, you lost an overtime game. You probably should have won. Then you dominated the Falcons. The Packers had a nail-biter loss to the Falcons. They beat up on the Bears. They should beat up on the Bears. And then the Saints, they came back and scored 18 unanswered points in the fourth quarter in a game they shouldn't have won. You got to give them credit for coming back, but they weren't in that game the entire time. So I like the Lions in this spot. I think they play tougher competition. I think they're more talented. I think they're more hungry, and I really like their receivers.
The Packers also haven't played a ton of great quarterback talent. I mean, look at who they've played so far. It's Justin Fields, it's Desmond Ridder, it's Jameis Winston, it's Derek Carr. Jared Goff is by no means an MVP candidate, but he's probably a top 10 quarterback in the league, we got to say right now, which also speaks to the mediocrity that is the quarterback position, which is weird because it seemed like there are so many young and amazing quarterbacks. And, the future is now with Jalen Hurts and Lamar and Trevor Lawrence. A lot of those guys have not been totally impressive. Like, you can look down the list of the leading passers in the NFL. It doesn't look that amazing, but Jared Goff is going to be the best player that the Packers have faced thus far. And yes, he has struggled on the road historically, but in his one game on the road this season, again, it was Thursday night at the Chiefs, opening night. They're hanging the banner. He goes for 253 yards, throws a touchdown, no interceptions, has a QBR of 72, so pretty good outing from him. And he's going against the Packers team that doesn't have an amazing defense. So I think this could be a solid night for Goff, and I would be betting on the Lions here to win this game.
Neither team really has that solid defense, but I wouldn't say that. The Lions give up some yards through the air. They're good against the run. The Packers are more well-rounded. I think they're a little better through the air, but they're still going to get lit up on the ground. Packers just have not faced the same schedule that the Lions have. This is like a slam dunk home run kind of take the Detroit Lions game for me. Even though they're on the road, I still think they're going to be fine.
Yeah, I do too. I like the Lions here. Going into the year, I wasn't so sure how they were going to handle some of the expectations and all that stuff. I think you have seen those effects. It was a great win on opening night, but then they immediately lose at home to the Seahawks in overtime. That's the kind of immaturity that I was talking about that's going to sneak through. But you know what? The Packers themselves, they are kind of equally in a younger spot, and that's mostly because their quarterback is 24 years old. This is his first year starting. I'm talking about Jordan Love. Yes, he's been good in the sense that he's thrown 7 touchdowns, only 1 interception, has his team at 2-1, but he is also completing only 55% of his passes. That's the second lowest amount ahead of only Zach Wilson, also averaging less than 220 passing yards per game. 5 of his 7 touchdowns have been less than 10 yards. He's not really pushing the ball down the field a whole lot. So I think if the Lions are able to score some points here, it's going to be hard for the Packers to respond.
No, I totally agree. It's going to be the Lions game to win, I think. And you know what? Anything could happen in the NFC North or on the road. It's a home division dog, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. Lions are a better team.
Lions are a better team. And I don't know about you, but I got a player prop that I want to talk about for the Lions. And I'll go with the guy that I was talking about, Jared Goff. 200, I think it's 228.5 passing yards at the time we're recording this.
No. It's 249.
249. Who am I thinking of?
You're thinking of Jordan Love.
I'm thinking of Jordan Love. Oh, yeah, sorry. Got the numbers backwards. But anyway, I'm taking the over on Goff's passing yards here. I was talking about, I think that this is just a situation where the Lions, they're going to be comfortable. Dan Campbell's going to he's going to take risks if that's what it takes to get this team to the finish line. Goff, again, has shown some improvement on the road, even though he wasn't great there last year. Packers' pass defense has not been tested so far. Again, Fields, Carr, Winston, that's not a great group of quarterbacks that you've gone against. So yes, they're top 10 in yards allowed, but I think Goff is really going to blow that mold open. And if the Lions are going to win, there's a decent chance that Goff is going to go over along with his favorite receiver, who I know you might be looking at.
Yep, so I'm going to go with Amon-Ra St. Brown to go over 72.5 receiving yards. He's hit this in 2 of 3 games so far this season, and he's gone over 100 in his past 2 games against the Falcons last week when he was battling an injury, I think a toe injury to be exact. I'm not exactly sure what the injury was, but it was a lower leg injury. 9 receptions, 12 targets, 102 yards. Didn't have a touchdown, has not had a touchdown the past 2 weeks. Could be a sneaky touchdown bet just to see him find the end zone here, but I like him to go over the yardage. I think Goff's going to look to him consistently in this one, and he's good enough to get open against this Packers secondary. So as long as the offensive line can hold up, because the Green Bay Packers do have a strong front 7, as long as they can protect Goff and give him some time in the pocket, I do like Amon-Ra to go over his 72.5 yard total.
A couple other guys that I would think could be good bets for anytime touchdown scorers. Aaron Jones for the Packers. If they're going to score a touchdown, I think Jones has a good shot to get it. Only played in 1 game this season, but he caught a receiving touchdown, and he also ran one in. So 2 touchdowns in 1 game. Missed the last 2. Looks like he will be back. He's been at practice. He's trending towards playing. A.J. Dillon did not score a single touchdown in his absence, even though he was the real bell cow. So I think that speaks to some of the problems they've had. And, if they get near the goal line, I think they will give it to Aaron Jones. And then another running back, this time for the Lions, David Montgomery. I know everybody's caught up in the Jahmyr Gibbs hype. Tanner and I love to watch him play, but even though he carried the ball, I think 17 times for 80 yards last week, he didn't score a touchdown. I think either Goff snuck it in or the fullback carried. I can't remember, but wasn't able to find his way into the end zone. Montgomery scored in the first 2 games of the season before missing last week. Looks like he's going to be back as well, and I think that he could be a good bet to get a touchdown as well.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think they're going to use both those guys in tandem, which is hard necessarily, but David Montgomery is still a feature back in my mind.
And he is more of a bruiser near the goal line than Gibbs is. Gibbs is the guy that's going to cut you, but Montgomery is, if you need a yard or 2, he'll be able to go pick it up.
Yeah, Gibbs is super explosive, but I just have a bad taste in my mouth after. And granted, I didn't watch the Lions last week, but I have a bad taste in my mouth after what I saw in the primetime opener when Jahmyr Gibbs was sitting on the bench the entire time. Literally, so many moments. Like, it was like, throw the ball to him, 10-yard gain. Throw the ball in 10-yard gain. Nice run, but they weren't giving him the rock.
Yeah, I don't understand. I can let me start over. I can understand the case for wanting to ease your rookie in, but I feel like running back is maybe the easiest position to translate from college to the NFL. If he's making plays while he's out there, just throw him back out there. You don't need to know a whole lot to know, okay, this is the gap that I'm running through, or I'm taking a screen pass here. It doesn't take a whole lot of memorization. You're not a quarterback memorizing where all of the routes are going and the timings and all that. Just put him out there, let him play.
Yeah, definitely. It was ridiculous. I lost a little love for Dan Campbell that night, but still, he can bring it back to me. Give me a win.
So I don't know. I'm not going to be betting the points total here, but I think we should be talking about it because some interesting numbers have been flying around. One of those being that the under in nighttime matchups this season is 9-2. So 9 covers for the under in 11 outings. The under in night games is also 49-24 across the last 2 seasons. So the trends would be telling you to bet the under here. Like I said, I'm on the over on Goff's passing yards. And I wouldn't put it past Love and the Packers to maybe not backdoor cover, but backdoor push the game over. So I wouldn't be betting either one of these sides, but the history, the precedent has been telling you to go with the under.
Yeah, nighttime unders are the way to go. But the fact of the matter is both offenses can take off at any time. I think the Lions can put up points here. I think the Packers could follow against Detroit because their defense isn't great, even though they did hold the Falcons to 6 points. But again, different beast here. So it's probably a stay away from me. I don't see a clear side. My favorite side is the Lions on the money line. If they were at home, I'd really like them, but still, I like them on the road. Yep,
I'm 100% with you. I got nothing else, Tanner. Do you got something?
No, fast, efficient. We're getting the people in and out, getting the bets in. We're ready to go win some money. It's not rocket science.
Not rocket science, never been rocket science, just like it's not rocket science to get you guys to hit the subscribe button. Like we said at the top of the show, Tanner and I aren't going anywhere throughout this NFL season. So if you want to be here with us on this journey, smash that button. And Tanner, you know what to do. Get us on out of here.
That was Ride the Line, the greatest podcast in sports betting entertainment. Smash the subscribe button, and we'll see you on Friday to talk about Week 4, Sunday in the NFL.